trying to give you guys a walk around. I'm hoping that hoping I got the footage right. It's getting pretty hot, so I'm probably going to sit in the car and go over the mods with you. But I always get flustered when someone asks me what the mods are to my car. I don't know why. I panic. I go into stupid panic mode and start rambling on, and I'm like, coilovers, wheels, tint, you know. But there's actually a decent list. At least I noticed there's a decent list when I actually started writing them down today. Not gonna lie, first time doing this sort of thing, I kind of feel like an idiot just standing out here. But this is the process, right? This is how we're supposed to do it. Excuse the sweat. I don't do the heat well at all. But welcome to my 2009 Mazda Rx8. This is a R3 edition, so the front bumper, the little spats at the bottom, and the side skirts. There's a list of things actually, but they're pretty much the only things left from an R3. That and the Recaro over there, but you'll see probably in the next video. I'll go more into it. Actually, I might not. I can't remember. Well, when I installed this Sparco, I briefly went over one of the reasons, or part of the things that I disliked about the Recaros was there's plastic little bezels. They break all the time. They're super expensive for what they are, and blah 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 blah. Ramble. Okay, so this is my 2009 Mazda Rx8. Questions I get all the time about this thing. Is it fast? Define fast. From a stoplight in a straight line, it's probably about as quick as a Civic Si, a newer gen Civic Si. I can keep up with BRZs and stuff like that, but it's not a straight line car. So if you want a fast straight line car, don't buy an Rx8 unless you're gonna swap a big old motor into it or something like that, because it's not what the car is built for. I digress. I don't want to ramble on to you guys. Anyway, is it fast in the corners, up the mountains, at the track, autocross? It's quick. It keeps up with cars. It's way more pricey than this one. It does good. It does real good. Handling is awesome. Next, well, I shouldn't say next set of questions, but questions I get asked all the time, and I fumble through it every single time, is what do I have done to the car? I don't know why, but as I was saying earlier on, I go into panic mode when people ask me, and I don't even know why. I go into a panic mode when people ask me what I've done to the car, and I go, coilovers, wheels, an exhaust, and then my mind just blanks. So this afternoon, I took the time to write it out, and it's a decent sized list. All right. So for the exterior, it's always the one that people really want to talk about, is the exterior. I drilled out the front grille. I basically notched out all the honeycomb. I like the look of it. Aftermarket grills are really expensive, and I actually don't really like any of them. Like, I wouldn't spend $900 on an RE. I mean, yeah, nothing wrong with that. I don't know, for the money, it's not worth it in my opinion, and it is what it is. So I drilled out the honeycomb, and I dig the look. I like it. We rolled and pulled the fenders. I say we. Well, I had a guy do it. They rolled and pulled the fenders about ½ an inch to try and make these wheels fit, because I'm an idiot and I wanted to go with the most aggressive wheel setup that I could think of putting on the car. It's not the most aggressive, but it's pretty aggressive for the offset is, at least. But wheels. So I have Koenig Hypergrams 18 by 10.5 plus 25. That's pretty. The offset's excessive, to be honest with you, for my car. And like I said, I had to pull the arches about ½ inch, heading toward 3/4 inch. I had to pull them a lot, to be honest with you. But I also put 265/35 Federal 595 RS Pro tires on the car because I wanted grip. I like the meaty look, and to be honest, if I could do it again, no, I'd stick with the I like the B face. I like the B. I don't know if you guys have looked at the Hypergrams or most of the Koenig line. They have the A face and then the B face, and in another video I'll show you the difference, but there's a concavity difference. In the B face is more aggressive looking, in my opinion. So I wanted the B face, and you can only get it in the 10.5 and above kind of deal. So I'd still do the 10.5. Anyway, we're getting distracted. Let's not do that. Bennett built gas cap holder. Man, let me tell you, money. It's such a good mod. Like it seems stupid, but it's fantastic actually. You can 3D print them, and then you can buy the Bennett built one that I picked up, and awesome. 10 out of 10. Fantastic, worth the money. Cheap, quick mod, and gets your gas cap off of the side of your car. Well worth it. I have 3 hoods. I have a stock. I have 2 stock hoods. One is stock and hasn't been modified. I have a Cybon carbon fiber hood that I'm trying to restore. I've been trying to restore it for 2 years now. Let me tell you, that was way bigger of a project than I expected. But you live it and you learn, right? So it is what it is. And then I have my hood that I currently have on the car. I don't know if you can tell very well, but I have a stock hood with the Chrysler Automation hood vents that have been molded into, I shouldn't say molded, maybe molded. I had my buddy RJ, and you'll probably hear a lot of RJ because he does like everything welding that I can do, and then if I can't make a part, he's typically the one that helps me with them. But he welded them into my stock hood, and then I used some bonder to kind of like smooth out the edges to kind of make it seem like it was built into the hood. And I dig the look. I don't like rivets at all. Man, I say that and I know I already have something, because it doesn't matter. Not keen on rivets. We'll go with that. So I wanted to kind of like mold. One of the things I get asked most about is my spoiler, wing, spoiler, whatever you want to call it. I still have the stock R3 one at home, and I have a DSP one, or an autocross DSP class legal spoiler, NASCAR style spoiler that I made, and you guys will see the video on that also coming up. But the one that's currently on the car, and the one I get asked most about, is it's a Mugen rep of a Civic, Honda Civic Mugen wing. It's a rep of one of those. When I bought it, I thought it was a legit one. Turns out it's not, but it is what it is. Because I have another plan anyhow. So I have a vision. You'll probably hear that a lot, to be honest, from me. I have a lot of ideas. So yeah, so it's a Mugen rep for a Civic that I had my buddy RJ again help me make a riser for it. By help, we kind of collabed the idea. Then he did like all the welding and cutting and everything else, because he has all the cool tools. But either way, super awesome. And the reason I did my spoiler the way I did it is because of so many people would ask me about the Mugen wing, and I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. I'm not gonna be like, you can't, no, blah 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 blah. I'm not like that. So I told everybody, and people were like, "Oh, buy it. You know, I'm gonna check it out." And I'd get pictures here and there of people picking it up and putting it on the cars and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, shit, I like to be different, and I'm telling everyone what I did. So I wanted to make it my own, and the riser, the 1.5 inch riser on it, it does that, and it looks good. It gives us some aggression, and I dig it, man. I dig it. But we're getting distracted again. I'm actually gonna speed up because I don't want to go into too much detail, because a lot of this will be a really long, boring video if I'm just gonna sit here and explain every part. Custom exhaust shroud. I made a custom exhaust shroud because I wanted one to protect the bumper and the plastic exhaust shroud from the fire and heat that exhaust puts out. I've melted 2 of them now, and it's not fun to replace. They're kind of expensive, and I just don't want to replace them anymore, to be honest with you. Plus, I dig the look. It goes well with the look of my car, in my opinion. But I made my own aluminum one, and I had my buddy RJ weld up that also, because they don't actually make an aluminum exhaust shroud or carbon fiber exhaust shroud in for the Series 2. I've seen one for the Series 1, but they're not the same. They're different exhaust shroud shapes, so it wouldn't work for mine. So I made my own. You'll see that in the walk around, and you'll see it. I'm gonna kind of speed up a little bit, and I may have already said that once already, but I'm gonna speed up a little bit because I'm sitting here for a little bit now, and this will get boring. This will get boring if I'm just running down my Mazda list. Let me see. The interior, we have a Recaro shift boot, likewise shift knob. I painted the center dash columns that run all the way to the back of the car. I have my digital mirror, which is you'll probably see some footage from that thing here and there. If you've seen anything from my my Instagram, you would have seen footage from the front or the rear camera. I have that hardwired in, so I don't have random wires hanging down, because that's lazy, and I don't like it. So anyway, my center dash pod is actually from an FD Rx8 that I made to work for this one, because again, for the Series 2, I think they do make one. I think they do make a pod, but it's in Japan, so it faces the other way, number one. And number two, it's really expensive, and that's not how we're doing things. So then we have of course we have the Sparco seat, FIA regulated this year. Same with the straps, the harnesses, and the brackets that mount it are all Sparco. Everything's Sparco as far as the seat's concerned. And then it's gutted back there to a degree, you know. It's gone. We'll consider that a mod because it's a modification to the stock form. Suspension's quick and easy because we haven't done too much to it yet. Right out of the back, the Rx8 is fantastic handling car, it really is. But I do have Fortune Auto 500 coilovers on it with Evo R adjustable end links. I don't know how I forgot in my mods list to include my brake rotors, a brake upgrade. They are EBC slotted rotors, as well as Hawk Street, what are they, 5.0 pads, and then the Chrysler Automation Willwood big caliper kit for the car. I actually lost a good amount of weight from doing that swap, even though I went to a much larger caliper. But I don't know how to figure out that. I guess because I never look at it, to be honest with you. But they're there, obviously. Yeah. All right, on to the engine. I have 101,000 miles on the car, on the chassis, should I say. I have just about 10,000 miles on this motor. We can dive into that later on if we really want to, but for now we're going to leave it as it is. We have a coiled dual pass resonator, dual pass radiator. Again, weird looks. We have a coil dual pass radiator, a 76-degree thermostat, a Bennett built coolant tank, which I've relocated to the firewall of the car. We have HSP silicone hoses. It's either HPS or HSP, one of the two. Either way, they're pretty nice, actually. I really do like the ones that I ended up going with. I have LS ignition coils by T-Rex, which are T-Rex, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't exist anymore. You can find their website, but they're just don't go to a different site. I have an ECU flash. We changed some parameters on there. As far as like the red line, we raised it to 9,500 RPM instead of 9,200 RPM. On the Series 1, I believe it's like 8,700 RPM. Keyboard warriors can go to town and look it up and correct me in comments if you'd like. But I know the Series 2 was slightly higher than the Series 1, but we raised it to 95. I removed the man, I can't think. I removed the check engine light, which yeah, it's back. So I'm not too sure if when my motor got rebuilt, if they reflashed it to the stock Mazda setup. I really need to look into that, and I will, and I'll probably make a video on that. Just a short little clip kind of deal, but it is what it is. Getting distracted again. I have an AM cold air intake and a Racing Beat non-resonated mid-pipe. That is why it is a tad on the loud side, plus the combination of my HKS single exit catback exhaust. I think that's about it as far as engine mods is concerned. That's pretty much all the mods on the car. I don't have an overabundance done to it, but there is more than I always end up rambling off, just because I don't know why I panic. It's so silly. But that's the mods. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you want to see, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.